Hi friends, it has been a while since our last update video and I felt like it was probably time to do that again. My goal has been to try to do one every week, but I've had a lot of things going on the last, let's see, I think it's been like 6 weeks since my last update, maybe more. So um, anyway, some big updates to fill you in on today, and I'll kind of share a little bit about why I took a little bit of a break from kind of the Mama in the Saddle YouTube and Instagram and all of those things, and also some big goals and ideas for 2025, because I think 2025 is going to be, well, I know 2025 is going to be a really big year. So we'll cover all of that and hopefully try to get back to a semi-regular video schedule for now. We'll see what happens. But yeah, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Ruby, and I am a holistic equine coach. I help people with their horses to be as healthy as they can be, and I also am a mom to a toddler. I am pregnant with baby number 2, and I just generally have a lot of hats that I wear. So my intention with these videos is to try to make some relatable information, because throughout my first pregnancy and now through my second pregnancy, I've had a hard time finding just relatable content or people that are going through similar things that I'm going through as a highly active person who's also pregnant, and now a mom who's pregnant and highly active, and also a business owner and trying to juggle all of those things. It's a lot. And I was really feeling like I needed to find those resources, and I was having a hard time finding them. So then I thought, might as well create them. So as vulnerable as this is, and sometimes uncomfortable for me, it really feels like an important thing to share, and I hope that it helps you as well if you find yourself in a similar situation. So all that said, let's start with the pregnancy portion of my update. So I am currently, I think today is 29 weeks pregnant, which means I have technically 11 weeks if I get full term, but somewhere between 9 and 14 weeks to go. And I am definitely feeling it. I am officially in the 3rd trimester. My body is feeling heavy and tired. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this pregnancy has some new challenges that I didn't experience during my first pregnancy that have made it really hard on a daily basis to kind of continue doing the things that I do. So one thing that's been going on is my blood pressure has been low. Not scary enough low that there's any kind of complication that I need to be worried about health-wise for myself or the baby, and I am being really closely monitored by my healthcare team. But what that does mean for me is that it is really affecting my energy levels. I'm really tired all the time, and I don't have any energy or motivation to do really very much of anything at all. I have not been fainting or passing out, which is great, because historically that is something that I tend to do pretty easily. But I do feel kind of lightheaded at times, and so I've just been really being extra careful about that. And at the barn, what that means is I'm really relying on a lot of people, because while I haven't fainted, I don't want to put myself in a position where I am responsible for kids or horses, and I am not capable of doing that effectively and safely, because I'm not being safe in my own body. So I've been luckily had a lot of help from really amazing people that have stepped in to help teach lessons and to help with horse care, and that's all been really, really amazing. So that's been fantastic and has really helped a lot. And even still, I'm still at the barn pretty much every day for at least a few hours. And when I'm there, I tend to kind of feel a little bit energized, and I tend to feel kind of good. Sometimes I'm still a little sluggish, but I think I'm just so happy to be there and be outside and be with the horses that I kind of have this little like burst of energy. And then I get home and I'm just like exhausted. I have no energy left for anything else. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, trying to remind myself not to expend too much energy that I don't actually have, like kind of this false energy at the barn. That's been really challenging, but I think kind of good that the barn still makes me feel good, that I want to be there, so that's great. And then in addition to all of that blood pressure stuff that's been really affecting my energy levels, I also have been having a lot of back pain, hip pain, and just general like pelvic girdle pain, which I didn't have a lot of with my first pregnancy. And so that's something that is new and really challenging for me to navigate, because generally speaking, I tend to feel pretty good in my body. I'm pretty lucky that way, but I am not feeling that way right now. And so I've been trying to manage it with chiropractic and rest and some stretches and gentle movements. And what's just really strange for me is the mental piece of both with the back pain and the blood pressure issues, kind of feeling like I'm sort of like, the best word I can think of is like disconnected from my body, because as a highly active person and a pretty like aware person generally of my body, I've always really felt, again, very lucky in this way, because I know this is not kind of a common thing for people, but I've always really felt like my body is home and it's really predictable, and I know exactly what my body's going to do and how it's going to react. I've always been really sensitive to like sugar, for example, and I always know like exactly how, like if I eat a donut in the morning, I know exactly how I'm going to feel for the rest of the day, and it's a very like calculated risk that I know exactly what that's going to do to me. Or I know like if I drink this much coffee, or if I don't exercise for a certain amount of time or whatever, I like kind of know exactly what that's going to do in my body. And it's really strange experience for me that I experienced this my first pregnancy as well, but right now it feels even more challenging, because with my first pregnancy, I was physically feeling definitely different, but still fairly energetic and capable of doing a lot of the things that I needed to do. And I also had a lot more space to rest when I needed to, because I wasn't chasing around a toddler. And now I'm in this weird place where my time is not mine because I have a toddler. So when I need to rest, I can't always just take that opportunity. And also, I feel like my body is really unpredictable, and I don't know day to day how I'm going to feel, how my blood pressure is going to feel, how much energy I'm going to have, how my back is going to feel. And it's really challenging for me to be in this kind of place of like not knowing what to expect from my body and feeling kind of disconnected from my body, if that makes sense. So anyway, all those things to say, I only have about 9 to 14 weeks left, which is not that long, but it feels like forever right now. And I'm definitely just trying to be as present as I can and just try to move through each day as best I can, and as slowly and carefully as my brain will let me, as somebody who likes to try to do a lot in a day. But anyway, if that's something that's familiar to you, that kind of feeling, I'd love to hear more about it, because I'm definitely looking just for community around that and people that have experienced similar things. So if that's something that's familiar to you, I just would love a comment or something. I just would really love to hear your experience. And otherwise, pregnancy is going really well. Baby's healthy. He's measuring right around the normal size. He's a boy, which is great news. I can't remember if I updated that in the last video or not. And well, I don't really, great news, girl, boy, whatever. I didn't really have a preference, but kind of exciting to have a girl and a boy, I guess. And yeah, he's moving a lot, and all those things that you would expect from a third trimester pregnancy. So that's all really great news, and trying to stay focused on that, focused on the fact that the baby's healthy, and generally I'm healthy. None of these issues that I'm dealing with are actually dangerous to my health or pose any kind of extra risk. The risk is really just in kind of secondary injuries, like if I were to be at the barn and not be able to physically do what I think I can do, or try to lift something that I shouldn't have lifted, or, hopefully not, but pass out while I'm working with a horse or something like that would all be really bad. So trying to minimize risk as much as possible around the horses. And I think those are the big things. And then toddler parenting update wise, we're going through a few things. One is she's just sick all the time. And I think it's just because we have her out and about all the time. Like, we go to the park, we go to museums, we're like out around family, we go to the beach, like we're out in the world a lot with her, which is really wonderful, and she's so social, and it's, I think, really, really good for her to have that opportunity. But it also means she is sick like once a month. So that feels like a lot to me. The doctor said it's not a big deal. I also have recently weaned, so I think that could be part of it. Like, she might just not be getting the immune support that she was getting before. But yeah, it just feels like we're always dealing with something, and I don't want to spread whatever she has. So when she is sick, we keep her home, which, because we like this more like active outdoor lifestyle, is kind of challenging, because then we're just cooped up in the house all day and she gets kind of restless and antsy. So anyway, she always bounces back really fast because she's young and healthy. But regardless, the point is, toddlers, I think she just gets sick a lot because she like touches things and then eats, or touches her face, or she's teething, so she like sticks her finger back to feel her new tooth or whatever, and just is always exposed to germs. So I don't know that there's a whole lot we can really do about that. And then she's also just becoming really independent, which is really cool. She's been like playing with trying to put her own clothes on, which she's not very good at yet, but it's really cool to watch her trying to figure it out. She got a little like scoot bike for Christmas, and she's really loving riding that around. She likes to walk the dog while she's riding her bike, which is like a lot of multitasking and kind of stressful for everybody, but she's really committed to that as an activity. And it's just all really interesting right now. She's so engaging and dynamic and interesting, and that also means, the flip side is when she doesn't want to do something, she makes that really known. She's really into throwing food right now, which is just so messy and hard to clean up, especially when I don't have a lot of energy. Like, I don't want to be on the floor trying to clean up the food. And our dog is wonderful in a lot of ways, but he's kind of a picky eater, so he doesn't actually clean up very well after the thrown food. So those are all kind of I think the big things with her right now. And barn wise, my lesson programs are really busy right now, which is really great. I'm really loving just everything that's happening at the barn right now. There's a lot of really amazing people and amazing horses that I'm surrounded by on a daily basis, and I'm just feeling really fulfilled there. And then I think just the challenge for me is like not really being able to be there as much because my energy is so low and it's not really safe. And so having to ask people to come in and help in this moment where I'm feeling really inspired to be there is kind of challenging. And I'm definitely missing riding. I'm dreaming about it a lot. I'm really ready to get back on a horse. I'm wearing my breeches today. I don't know if you can see because I don't remember what the camera angle looks like, but I am not riding. I am wearing the breeches because they have stretchy waistband, and they're the only pants that I had that were clean today. So I'm kind of posing, I guess. But just we're trying to keep the lesson program going, keep everybody happy, keep the horses well cared for. I have a horse right now that has an abscess, which is a really big bummer because that means I'm short a horse, and we're like really full program, and I just feel so bad for this horse watching him feeling painful. And anyway, it's just like a challenge always. Abscesses are the worst, such a pain. And my biggest struggle right now is just having to slow down, which is so hard for me because I like to do a lot in a day, and having to slow down and spend a lot of time off my feet is really challenging. And yeah, I think that's all the really big stuff. So 2025 obviously is going to be a really big year because I am going to have a second child, which is huge. And I am really excited for that. I'm really excited for the adventure of having two little kids. I've loved being a mom and loved watching my daughter grow and learn and explore the world and introducing her to horses and all of those things. So I am just very excited to find out who this new little person is. And I think also I have some kind of big ideas for more resources, more help that I can continue to offer people, both from the mama in the saddle perspective, which is kind of what we're doing here, like pregnancy, birth, postpartum, early motherhood, motherhood in general, while also being kind of a, specifically for me, an equestrian, but I think also just this idea of like highly active or highly involved people with their hobby or their sport or their career or whatever that might look like for you, and trying to balance that also with the demands of motherhood and how challenging that can really be, and especially when your identity is wrapped up in your sport or hobby or career, and kind of having this like identity crisis of like who you were before kids and who you are as a mom, and is there room for both, or do they need to exist separately? And I think there is room for both for sure. There are a lot of really great examples of that out there, but it is really challenging. And so just creating some resources and some stories and things around that is feeling really important to me right now, and I have a lot of ideas for that in 2025. And I also have a lot of ideas for sort of the whole horsemanship side of what I do as well, continuing to educate people about how to be better stewards for our horses and how to care for them in a more holistic and all-encompassing way, biologically appropriate way, and also how to care for ourselves as their caretakers, because we know that a team is only as strong as its weakest link. And between the horse and rider team, often we see people prioritizing their horse's health over their own, but what they don't realize is that by not caring for their own health, they are actually just kind of a negative draw on the team as a whole, and that we really have to be looking at both the horse health and the human health in order to kind of complete that cycle. I was actually just today at the chiropractor, just helping so much with my back pain and my hip pain. But I've never been to a chiropractor until now. It took for me to be in this much discomfort on a daily basis for me to actually go to a chiropractor. And I was like laughing with my chiropractor about this, because I was like, I've done lots of body work for myself. I just haven't specifically done chiropractic for myself, but I have chiropractors work on my horses and have for a long time. And so it's really odd to me that it was like such a no-brainer, easy decision to hire chiropractors to work on my horses. But for my own back pain, I was always like, oh, I'm going to bootstrap it at home and I'll figure out the right stretches and the right core exercises and I'll try to fix it myself. And it took until I was pregnant and I couldn't do a lot of those things that I know historically have helped me before I actually turned to chiropractic. And so, my own example of, you have to take care of your horse for sure, and you also have to take care of yourself. And so more to come with that in 2025 as well. So definitely stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate a subscribe, and it will also help you to stay informed with some of those things that are coming out in 2025. I will see you in the next video. I hope that update was at the very least entertaining, if not maybe helpful to you, just to know that someone else is going through these things. And I will hopefully do at least another update or two about the pregnancy before the baby comes, but I'll also be working on some more horse content. So stay tuned for all that. Okay, be well.